News 7x7 is a unique channel dedicated to the news from dairy industry. Every week you receive brief on top 7 dairy news on this YouTube channel from India and abroad. These news could be seen in detail on our channel dairynews7x7.com also. You may write in the comment box on the dairy topics of your interest. We will try to develop news feature on the same. Your constant feedback and patronage to this channel is our source of top 7 dairy news from the week of October 31 will cover. Rating agency ICRA says dairy industry reeling under high input cost. India's food exports rose by 25% to $13,771 million in first half of FY23. Aavin increased milk procurement price by 3 rupee a litre. Lumpy skin disease had marginal impact on India's milk output in FY23. Extreme heat is stressing cows, imperiling global dairy supply. Consumer perception of plant-based milk alternatives and further downward pressure on global dairy prices. Here comes the news of the week. Rising price of milk procurement and higher operating costs keep dairy industry under pressure even as companies attempt to hike retail prices to combat margin pressures. While the revenue of the top 6 dairy companies is expected to grow by 12 to 14% this fiscal, backed by strong demand revival and increase in retail prices, operating profit margins are expected to contract by 1.2 to 1.6%. The hike in retail price is expected to only partially ease input cost pressures. Milk output in the first half of this fiscal was hit by the outbreak of LSD, especially in the northern states. Rating agency ICRA said it expects milk production growth of 4 to 5% this fiscal. Sheetal Sharad, Vice President ICRA, said raw milk procurement prices increased last fiscal, led by healthy demand and constricted available owing to disruption in cattle insemination programs during the pandemic. Raw milk prices have continued to rise in the current fiscal too, owing to rising cattle feed and fodder prices. While erratic monsoons impacted fodder availability, the rising prices of grains like maize, wheat and soybean led to soaring prices of cattle feed concentrate. The outbreak of lumpy skin disease briefly limited milk availability. Furthermore, companies faced rising logistics, processing and packaging expenses. The industry has liquidated skim milk powder inventory last fiscal in line with expectations, aided by good demand recovery and rise in domestic prices. India's agriculture and processed food products export rose by 25% to $13,771 million in April to September from $11,056 million over the same period of last fiscal. Processed fruits and vegetables recorded a significant growth of 42.42%, while fresh fruits registered 4% growth compared to corresponding months of the previous years. The export of meat, dairy and poultry products increased by 10.29% and the export of other cereals recorded a growth of 12.29% in 6 months of the current fiscal. Dairy products recorded a growth of 58% to $340 million, with SMP and butter and ghee and cheese categories products showing 100% or more growth as against first half of FY22. After almost 4 years, Aavin on Thursday announced an increase in milk procurement prices by rupee 3 a litre, and as a result, over 4.2 lakh farmers attached to 9,345 primary cooperative societies will benefit. A litre of cow milk will be procured at a price of 35 and buffalo milk at 44. The last time the milk procurement prices were increased was in August 2019. Said an official press release. Aavin has also increased the MRP of full cream milk from 46 rupees a litre to 60 rupees to a litre to provide for the increase in procurement prices. Prices of other varieties remain the same. India's liquid milk production this year has been marginally impacted by the outbreak of the lumpy skin disease in some parts of the country. The United States Department of Agriculture has lowered milk output for 2022 by 0.5% or about 1 million tons at 202.5 million tons against the earlier estimate of 203.5 million tons. It said the rising cost of fodder and grain prices contributed to lower milk yield per animal. The uneven 2022 monsoon, which was characterized by prolonged dry spells, coupled with abnormally high rains, affected availability of fodder throughout 22. The FAS has forecasted SMP production in 23 at 740,000 metric ton, up 6% from the previous year, following higher milk production and increased export demand. The report noted that due to a rise in input cost in 22, cow milk procurement prices ranged between rupees 32 to 36 per litre and buffalo milk procurement prices between rupees 55 to 57 per litre. The average consumer retail price of milk stood at rupees 54 per litre. Volumes of dairy are forecast to sink by nearly 500,000 metric ton this year in major exporter Australia as farmers exit the industry after years of pressure from heat waves. In India, small-scale farmers are contemplating investing in cooling equipment they would have to stretch to afford, and producers in France had to pause making one type of high-quality cheese when parched fields left grass-fed cows with nowhere to graze. Cows don't yield as much milk under the stress of scorching temperatures, and arid conditions and storms compound the problem by withering or destroying the grass and other crops they eat. In the US alone, some scientists estimate climate change will cost the dairy industry $2.2 billion per year by the end of the century. If greenhouse gas emissions remain high, one study estimates that the dairy and meat industry will lose $39.94 billion per year to heat stress by the same date. In a recent survey, researchers from the North Carolina State University found that most consumers, 73%, associated dairy milk with positive attributes compared to those with a positive association with plant-based milk alternatives, 14%, or with a neutral bias at 12.7%. While dairy product consumption is motivated by both familiarity and habit, the present-day world shows that consumers who are conflicted or uncertain about dairy consumption can change their opinions based on marketing or educational messaging. A total of 85% of parents in this study could recall drinking milk at home as a child, and 58% remembered encouragement from their parents to drink milk. However, only 38% encouraged their own children to drink milk. The majority, or 55%, were neutral towards their children's milk consumption. On the other hand, 77% of parents felt generally confident in choosing dairy milk or plant-based alternative for their children. Only 26% of parents felt that nothing about dairy milk or PBA information or messaging was confusing. Prices have plummeted in the latest global dairy trade auction with a 3.9% decline across the board. It is the third significant drop in a row, with the index falling 4.6% on October 18 and 3.5% on October 4. Whole milk powder, which peaked in March at $4,757 per metric ton, dipped by 3.4% to $3,279 per metric ton, which is nearly $300 less than 2 weeks ago. Skim milk powder dropped 8.5% to an average of $2,972 per metric ton, while anhydrous milk fat fell 1.7% with an average of $5,562 per metric ton. Similarly, butter rose a slight 0.2% to an average of $4,868 per metric ton. Thanks for watching Dairy News 7x7 channel with news update from last 7 days. To continue receiving update from this channel, I, Kuldeep Sharma, request you to subscribe this channel and share and like the video, and also don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.